All right, Tarzan's on. Can you hear me?
Can hear you perfectly, man.
Sweet, man. Well, first off, thanks for coming on the podcast. This
Hey,
is
man,
the
thanks for having me.
Storytellers. I think the first episode I did like a few days ago. I couldn't think of a name, but I was like, you know what? Let's do one based off the last name, my last name, Story.
Luke Story.
So, yeah,
That's perfect, man.
but brother Tarzan, thanks for coming on. But yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell me a little bit more about you that I don't already know.
Oh, right on, man.
Yeah.
Stoked. Yeah, so, dude, I was born and raised in California, living the most beautiful but normal shelter life you can hear about, and very blessed from where I came from. And I eventually moved out here to Hawaii for football and for school. That was the path that my parents kind of lined me up on. And so I started coming out here, followed that same path. And it wasn't really till I started hiking a lot. I started surfing, and I started following my own path and realizing that this was the only path I should take. So I started hiking a lot, and anytime during my free time, I would spend time in the jungle. And eventually I changed my whole entire path when I dropped out of school. And it was really just spending time with myself to see what I actually liked in this life and what I enjoyed doing. And I decided that the school system was not for me. So I dropped out. I started traveling and opening my mind to all different types of education and knowledge from around the world, getting inspiration from people, from places, and realized that I just wanted to follow my passion, and that was being in nature and to bring other people in nature and to play around and connect with the inner child. And ever since starting this, man, I've been obsessed with just being in the jungle and bringing people there.
Yeah, and I know that's factual because the first time I actually met you, we were in Manoa Valley. I took some buddies over there, and we saw this guy from a distance. We thought it was a monkey at first, but obviously there's no monkeys in Hawaii, right? And I was like, I think I know this guy. And I was like, I just yelled up there. I was like, yo, are you Tarzan? And, you're swinging from a tree. You're like, yeah, man, what's up? So that's funny, man. I didn't know you were going to play football. Where were you going to play football at?
I was here at UH. I was a kicker. I played soccer my whole entire life growing up. I was a sprinter, so my legs were always my strong suit. So I started on the football team sophomore year of high school. I started being a kicker, and it just took off. So I went to community college, played football there, had a half scholarship to come here and play football at UH, and played for a couple months. I practiced with them, and I realized this full-time school and football was just not, it wasn't what I wanted to do, and it took all of my time, so I had no free time at all, and I realized I needed to change my path and follow what my actual path is instead of following other people's paths.
Dude, that's amazing, man. Yeah, it's funny how, like, just life experiences, and you might think you're doing one thing, you're going to have this path, right? And I don't know if it's like Hollywood or if it's like stuff that we see through pop culture or through our parents' stories, but it's always like, oh, I'm going to do this path and I'm going to stick with it. And it's going to be like that. I can go ahead and look at the next 40 years of my life, and, I think one thing for me is like, I'm going to get out of the military, I'm going to go to school. I thought about going to law school at one point, and then COVID happened, and then I was like, you know what, like, I'm going to come out here to Hawaii. I love surfing. I'm going to enjoy the lifestyle. And then, things just took a big turn, and here we are now, But, it's funny how, like, life experiences, and a lot of people might look at it as like a bad thing, but like it can really change the path that you're going to take.
Life experiences, man, I feel like will change your whole entire perspective on life in general, and our perspective is our reality. Like, no matter what we're doing, if you have a certain perspective on life that's good, you're going to have a good life. You can have a business job, or you can have a job playing around in nature. If you have the right mindset, you'll know how to enjoy life, and that's the key. And that's what I've learned around traveling too, is like what you said, during life experiences, bad or good, you learn so much, and you just kind of learn how to navigate through them, and meeting so many people to help guide you too. I've been so inspired just from meeting beautiful people and from learning from them, and that's when community comes into play, is when we can all learn from each other, we can all benefit each other and work in synergy.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about like meeting people, and like it's funny because like we just met each other, but we had a bunch of mutual friends, like Julie. Shout out Julie Rogers.
Shout out Julie.
She has a podcast. I'm supposed to be on her show. I'm waiting, Julie. Let's see it. But
matter of time.
Yeah, no, she's awesome. And it just goes to show you that especially you moving out here and like like you came out here for football, but then it totally ended up being something totally different, but you found a community and support system of friends and, family that you can rely on and have similar interests to, But, dude, tell me about the name Tarzan, bro. I want to know. You look like Tarzan.
Thank
so,
you,
like,
man.
what made you drawn to choosing that as your, would it be pseudonym? You know what I'm saying? Or like your name that you want to go by,
Yeah,
because
man.
What's your real name?
So my real name is Harrison. That's what my mama named me. And so growing up until basically moving out here to Hawaii, I was called Harrison, Harry at sometimes. And the name Tarzan didn't really come until I really started hiking a lot, especially by myself, and started traveling. And obviously wearing less clothes and growing my hair out kind of just fit the vibe. And everywhere I would go, people would say, hey, you look like Tarzan. Hey, you look like Tarzan. And at the same time, I was loving climbing trees. I was loving being in nature. So everything kind of just came together. And the name just stuck around. And then I realized after the thousandth time being called Tarzan, I'm just going to take advantage of this. You know what? I am Tarzan. And that helped guide me to like start my own company with the hiking tours and all this. And yeah, my name is Harrison at birth, but now everyone knows me as Tarzan, and it helps me embody my newer self even more.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome, man. And yeah, your business is Tarzan Tours, right?
Yeah, Tarzan
So
tours.
what if I were to go on a Tarzan Tours here in Hawaii, or where else do you do Tarzan Tours at?
So I do Tarzan tours anywhere I go, but as of right now, it's mostly in Hawaii, and I started up in Guatemala as well. We're not currently working in Guatemala because I haven't hired people, but when I do travel back to these places, I start up there. I'll have some people help me as well. But man, our goal is to bring Tarzan tours all over the world, and because our mission at Tarzan Tours is very different than any other hiking tour that you've probably taken, and that's been my whole goal, and it came completely naturally because it's what I do when I'm in nature anyways. But I learned a lot from nature. I've learned a lot from trees. I've learned a lot from the ancestors, connecting through nature, and I've realized that my life has been lined up step by step by step perfectly, and it's because I'm in a line with nature, and we all are a part of nature. It's our mom, you know, it's where we all come from. So I've realized the connection with Mother Nature can benefit so many of us in so many different ways. And so this is when I really thought, okay, I want to start bringing people to nature, but not just go hike to the waterfall and just for like a workout or to enjoy the nature, but to really indulge ourselves into nature, to learn about the plants, the animals, and like how we can connect with them, how we can talk to them, because obviously these leaves and trees, they don't talk with our language, with the English language, but they talk in different ways of vibration and frequency. So I feel like nature has taught me everything, and it's made me who I am, and it's benefited me so much. So I realized this is my way of giving back, is to bring people back to the jungle, to nature in general, but also just to climb trees, to play around, to connect with the inner child, to be bare feet, to include breath work, like to really tap in and connect with nature as you would, for example, with a wife or a husband. It's the same deep connection, but just with a different being.
You know, it's funny you mentioned all that, and you know, me and you growing up in the States, and you know, you're in California and I'm in Kentucky, and you know, we all have our own versions of connecting with nature, but I feel like that, you know, being out here, it's a lot different. You talk about like the vibrations and frequency. And have you ever seen the documentary Fantastic Fungi?
Yeah, man,
Dude,
I was just thinking about it.
Such a great documentary.
Great
and
documentary.
Man, you don't realize, at least, you know, me growing up, I never realized, because you always hear it, you're like, oh, that's not Western religion or Western philosophy, right? It's more of tribal, and it's has grassroots, you know, and especially here in Hawaii and anywhere you go in the world, any indigenous tribe, dude. And something that they all share in common is connecting back with Mother Nature. And you know, this is just what I know from like a basic knowledge, but yeah, it's like interesting to recognize that now and actually really feel it, you know, and especially now in the modern era, like it's crazy because nature is healing, you know.
Nature
and
is so healing.
People take Epsom salt baths back in the States. Well, you know, it's funny. I have really bad knee pain, you know, and I've been taking like some like cartilage and collagen stuff to help with that, right? But dude, just going out for a swim in the ocean, man. Natural salt bath, you know,
salt bath.
Natural anti-inflammatory, and you know, and then you know, just getting back to nature and getting back to like the basics. It does have natural healing properties, whether you're ingesting that like through foods and natural medicines, or you know, the sun, or getting out and just hiking, you know, getting back out there. So what I guess question for you is like, what were you always like this?
No, not at all, man. Hawaii is the place that really changed me. That's why I think a big part of who I am to the nature here in Hawaii, and to the people here in Hawaii who I've met and who guided me along in nature to just teach me what I know now. But no, like I mentioned, man, growing up, like I had a beautiful life, very sheltered, but very abundant, you know, but I never left my comfort zone. I was always in my comfort zone and following the path of everyone else around me. And it felt good, you know, like it didn't feel bad. I was never sad. I was happy. I was a happy child. But when I found nature, it felt different. And like, if you would have told me my path was to come out here and be a jungle man and start doing hiking tours, I would have been like, no, man, like that's not for me. But it's all just one step at a time, man. And that's what nature can bring to you. It can bring a lot of clarity. It can just ease your mind and connect you back to that natural frequency, that harmonious frequency that nature vibrates at. And that's the biggest benefit, in my opinion, is going out to nature and to fully relax and to re-vibrate at the same vibration as nature. And this is what calms us down, and for me will inspire so many more thoughts to come through, inspiring ideas and connecting with people. And man, at this point, it feels more like nature is my living room than the house, you know. I feel like I want to spend every day out there as much as possible.
I'm gonna be honest, dude. Back 2020, 2019, like I was kind of against the idea. Not, and maybe this is just how a lot of people are brought up, but like you'll see stuff like this, or you'll see like videos on Vice or Snapchat stories, right? And it's like the most fun, like it's just like crazy stuff. But dude, living the lifestyle. And I think of it as like this. I live it in a more of a hybrid thing, right? Because, we're still connected to the Western world, but when we do have time to untap from that and really appreciate like Mother Nature, like you do start to understand other people's perspectives, and, I think being back in 4 years ago, dude, I was ignorant of that stuff. And I thought it was all just, maybe like hippie nonsense or just like, even not talking about like, I've never done psychedelics, but you hear people that do it, right? But you don't have to. You can have lion's mane. What are some other ones? Like chaga, reishi. And all these have really good benefits for the human body, Like, I think, is it not lion's mane, but turkey tail.
Turkey tail
has maybe anti-inflammatory properties, anti-cancer. And it's actually, in the documentary, I can't remember the guy's name. His name's Paul. Actually,
Paul Stamens. Shout out to you, Paul Stamens.
Yeah.
Thank you for your knowledge.
Dude, I just bought his supplements. I take them every day just for prebiotic for gut health, because your immune system is in your gut. So the foods that you put in your body really do matter, and that's something I was ignorant of 20 years ago, 4 years ago, 2020.
Yeah.
But
man, no worries, dude. I can feel that, man. Like, we have so much food in our system in this day-to-day American life, which is so not good for us. And making that realization that this food is not even food is the most important thing I think we can come to. I grew up eating good food, but also bad food too. It was both, But after eating so healthy and seeing how my body feels and how reactive my body feels to everything else, I can feel so much more. My body is fueled more. I feel more active, and like I want to always move. And when we're stick to this diet that is, full of chemicals and processed foods, like
Red 40,
man, like what is this stuff?
I love Takis, but dude, man, there's so much shit in there, man.
So much shit, man. It's like, it tastes good, but we really don't need it. And it's like, at the end of the day, it's just a craving. And if you go for a long diet, you will see that you will lose a lot of these cravings. You start eating really good, you're gonna crave kale and broccoli and all this stuff. But when you first try it, it's not gonna taste good at all. I didn't eat vegetables at all growing up, And now I feel like that's the only thing I eat, man, just fruits and veggies. But in my opinion, my best advice I can give to people to change their whole entire life, the first step, man, change your diet. What you eat becomes what you are. You are what you eat. And like you said, like, our microbiome is such a big part with our happiness, with everything, So we have to take care of this body. And when we feed it bad food, we technically are doing harm to it. And we're still young right now, so we're not going to feel the effects now. We're going to feel it in 20, 30, 40 years. And at that point, it's kind of irreversible,
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're going to be sick, and, we do have a great healthcare system, but that healthcare system is also designed is banking on you being sick in the future based on what they're pumping in the food system, and we kind of go back to talking about connecting back to nature, and like I said, I live in a house, and and I have my version of it, but I think anybody can. The biggest takeaway that I've realized living out here and meeting people like you and other friends, right? And you don't have to agree with everybody you meet, but if you just get back to the basics, eating sustainable foods, nutritious foods that are less steps in being processed, right? You're connecting back to how we used to be. You might not even realize it just by eating eggs, or organic eggs, pasture raised chicken, and everything else. But you're kind of taking those initial steps, and then you're eventually out there and enjoying nature and being immersed in it. So but that's funny. The reason why I ask you those questions is because like I said, you had a path that was you thought you were destined for, and completely flip-flopped it too, and kind of similar to me in different ways, and and part of the reason why, like, we have a bonfire here, and like growing up in Kentucky, we used to always have like campfires and bonfires, and I really wanted to bring that back to the people, because dude, we've lost connection with our friends and family, and like social media, and there's good ways to use it, and there's also really bad ways of overconsumption, and it's just like with bad foods, you overdo it, it's not healthy, right? But yeah, man, if you have anything to say about that, dude, it's kind of it's eye-opening, It
is eye-opening, man. Like, for me, what really started making me eat good was the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to me. And I think this is what people need to realize, is that all these things, all these situations that happen, they're not good or bad. They're just a situation, man, and we can assess that however we want to. And at the time, I assessed it as bad. Let's go back to 2018. I got alcohol poisoning, messed up my whole entire stomach just from partying, just normal system life things. I was having fun, drank too much, basically just started throwing up all night. I didn't get my stomach pumped because I couldn't tell my parents I was drinking. Messed up my stomach so bad where I was on Western medicine, taking pills every morning and every midday, and I was so limited on my diet. I couldn't have anything acidic. My body would just produce so much stomach acid that it would be so painful, and I went through this for years, and I never really realized that this is actually what planted the seed for me to start eating healthy, and start eating healthy led me to the path I am now. But without the alcohol poisoning, I would have never changed my diet and opened up my eyes to all this beautiful food. And all this beautiful food has changed me into who I am now. So every single thing that happens in your life, man, it all can be turned as good, We can look at any situation as a good situation. Everything is meant to happen the way it's supposed to be. And when we start looking at life like that, it brings so much more ease, You're not worried about situations that happen. If it's good, bad, it doesn't matter. It's just a situation. You can learn from any situation.
Dude, absolutely, man. Yeah, I used to... being in the military, like, I used to go get beers, go get drinks after the mission and everything. Like, I didn't see it as a problem, and I I think like I said, it goes back to if you're just overdoing it in an unhealthy way. And to this day, I don't drink ever, hardly. I barely drink, but every blue moon I'll have maybe one beer, have a good cocktail, and just
celebrate.
Depends on it. Yeah, celebrate, right? And I think if you do it that way, it's okay. But man, you start doing it where it's like a problem every day, dude. That shit, anything, and it's not good for you, man. And I know a lot of people in like Italy and like, was it Sardinia?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
They drink wine every day. It's a blue zone.
Yeah.
And they do it in a healthy way. They don't overdo it. They just, it's part of their daily meal, and they drink it at dinner, and it's, it's organic and it's healthy, but yeah, everything in moderation,
Everything in moderation is key.
I think that is the key, so, but yeah,
it's funny also talking about like alcohol a bit, and just, I guess, stimulants or anything to distract yourself in general. It's funny because if we really address the root of the problem, we start to realize that all this is happening because we're not truly happy with life. When you're fully content in life, whether it be a day or a week, I'm sure we've all had it before, you're not craving any kind of substance, man. We're craving love, we're craving like community and to be with each other, but like you're not craving any substances because you're already there and you're already happy. And I think that's the problem. People are following paths that aren't meant for them, It's not good or bad, it's just not your path, Right. And this is why I believe that every man, woman, and every being should spend enough alone time to find out what that path is, to find out what you like, and to chase that. I think the root of all man's problems lies with not being able to sit in a room in silence for a couple hours. We're always stimulated. We always want to talk to people. We always want to watch something or listen or feel something. If you can just sit and be for hours, then anything else that comes back in your life is going to be like ecstasy, man,
Yeah, that's funny you mentioned that. And, one thing that I really appreciate is if you ever do like a very hard manual labor job where you're not under artificial lights, or you don't have a cell phone, but you're like in the field from sunrise to sundown, dude, you are tired. When that sun sets, it's your body's natural circadian rhythm. You're like exhausted. You want to go to bed,
And dude, I've been living in my van the last 2 years, and I've been fully feeling the circadian rhythm. And it's because I don't have lights in my van, man. Like as soon as it gets dark, it's dark out, and like I naturally get so tired because I don't have lights to keep me up, or people, or TV, or anything else. And connecting back with that circadian rhythm has, for me personally, brought me back so much more energy. And sometimes I feel bad, like my friends are out at night hanging out, whether it's partying or just a social gathering, but I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, like I'm tired. I'm ready for bed. I'll meet with you guys in the morning. Let's go for a hike or a surf or something.
Same thing here, dude. I don't have AC here, and like our studio's all windows. So like when the sun rises, even though I maybe only slept 6 or 7 hours, I'm like awake. I'm already ready to go because like that's just now how our bodies have been processed for millennia, you know. And yeah, modern technology has only been around 100 years, man. It's kind of crazy when you think back, big picture, and you're like, man, our ancestors, dude, they woke up when the sun was up, went to bed when the sun was down, maybe made dinner, and right after that straight to bed because you didn't have anything else. Maybe you had a fire to sit around and enjoy, but other than that, man, it was bedtime, you know. So
it's a beautiful, simple life that is too, and it's hard for us to realize because we have so many distractions, so to say, you know, whether it's toys or anything. Like we're just so stimulated from our food, from everything we hear and see and feel. So it's like hard to think about that simple life. And when we try that simple life, maybe we go camping on a beach, it's not as fun as watching TV for most people, you know. But that's the thing, we have to like desensitize ourselves and get used to this slow type of life, and then everything becomes so much more exciting. But when you're so stimulated and you add more stimulus, whether it's food or alcohol, you don't feel it as much, you know. So our goal is just to really slow down and reconnect. And I feel for me, this has made every little thing so much better, whether it's a smile on someone's face or the nature and the leaves. Like it makes me so much more happier because there's not much going on in my mind. I'm present and I'm here, and it's a beautiful life.
Dude, absolutely. You know what a good solution is?
What's the solution?
Tarzan tours, baby.
Tarzan tours,
absolutely.
Baby.
Let's
Back
do
in
it.
the jungle. Let's reconnect. This is my goal. I would like to bring all of you guys out there, anywhere you guys are at. If you come to Hawaii, I'd love to bring you guys out.
Dude, I wish I wasn't leaving in 2 days because I would love to like get out in the woods with you and just climb some trees, go some waterfall hikes. Yeah, question though, do you know any secret places around here? You don't have to name drop it, but do you know a bunch of secret places that the average person doesn't know?
Oh man, just in this beautiful valley we're sitting in, Manoa Valley. I think this is the valley on the whole island I know the most. Man, there are some beautiful trees up there on the ridges that are like natural tree houses, and this is where I like to kick it during my free time, away from the trails, away from people. Not that I hate people or anything, but like I love my alone time with nature, and it's like it's not even alone time. I see it as me and my mom sitting next to each other and connecting, and she's teaching me and I'm listening. But man, yeah, I got a bunch of spots. I'd be super stoked to show you. When you come back, man, we're gonna be out there adventuring for sure.
Yeah, man.
And get modern Tinder out there as well.
Dude, absolutely. Yeah, headed back home for the summer just to, you know, got to manually pour these things, and you know, like I said, you know how it is being a small business owner is you gotta hustle and you gotta do things yourself. But yeah, man, having friends and family that you can that can help you out, dude. It means so much as a small business owner, and you can relate to that because it's like, dude, I'm like having let's say you're having issues or something and you don't know how to do it, and somebody extends out help and helps you out, and like, dude, that goes a long way. You know, I think, you know, and when I didn't start a business, I was kind of unaware of like how much work it is to start something up. And, you know, I've been going at this now from the initial thought, from like executing that initial thought. It's been about 2 years now. And I mean, it's came a long way, but there's so much more to do and so many more cool stories I want to tell and places I want to travel and interactions I want to have with people with this company, you know. And I think the beauty of a small business is that you set the standard, you set the status quo of how you want it to how you want it to run. Like, it doesn't have to be all about profit. It can be more about maybe this profit fuels innovation or creativity or connection, right? And I think that, you know, being a business owner, especially if anybody's thinking about doing one, I think it's important that you have those core beliefs, because if you're just all about the money, you're not gonna be happy, and you're gonna give up along the way, you know. And
when it gets hard,
when it gets hard, when you have days or, you know, weeks of people not maybe inquiring about a tour, I've had like months, man, where I haven't had any sales.
Yeah,
and
me too.
You just gotta hustle
every
day. Gotta take some photos. You gotta spread word. You gotta see if you can, you know, hey, I'll give you a free product for some pics or something, right? And yeah, man, it's just I think you have to have good intentions going in with whatever you're going to do in life, and that, whether you don't start a business, but even in relationships, you know,
Totally.
and they're going to get hard, but are you going to be the one to give that up, right? And you got to find out, like, I think doing hard things, it's rewarding, man, and you feel so happy that you did it, because like we were meant to do hard things, you know. Before technology, before, you know, we had to work the fields and farm our own food and, you know, make our own bread and everything else. And yeah, it was just this, it was like appreciation of, it wasn't a quick, because, you know, I think a lot of people struggle today with like
Quick
instant,
gratification.
exactly.
Yes.
And, you know, doing something hard, it's going to help reprogram your brain to how it used to be, and it like it makes you happy.
Totally, man.
You know?
And I feel like we live in the perfect time right now, man. Like you were just talking about, we used to work in the fields for hours, and like it's very wholesome at the same time, gruesome. Like it's hard, it's a lot of work. And now if we shift to like now today's age, we're the opposite. We're very comfortable. We sit in our homes most of the time, most people. But I feel like we just need something in between. It goes back to like the alcohol too, is moderation, you know? We need some physical activity, but we need comfort too. Not too much, not too extreme on either end of the spectrum. But even if it is like how Luke has this beautiful garden, you know, just growing your own food and tending the garden a couple hours a day, like this is going to help keep you young. Whether you're young or you're already old, this will keep you alive, man. Connect you with nature.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Step by step.
And, you know, you look at people in the blue zones, man, and the Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica, dude. Love that place,
this
man.
This is what they're doing.
You been there?
Know? I have, actually, yes.
Where have you been?
In Costa Rica, I've pretty much been everywhere, man. I went about like 3 years ago, and me and my friend Kayla, we just took a bus to every single surf town we can see. So, man, our favorite town was Santa Teresa and Nosara. Beautiful little surf towns with the conscious community. We just fell in love. It was beautiful nature, trees to climb, beautiful surf, ecstatic dances everywhere, and live music. We fell in love. But, man, I have a big, big love for Central America. That place is very special. It's got such abundant nature, but it also seems to attract those people that are craving more out of life, too, at least in this time. And that's what I think I love the most, is seeing so many people follow their dreams out there, following their passions. While traveling, especially in Central America, I've met so many people that have their own companies, you know, and they are going to do anything to make that successful, and they are going to be successful because it's what we talked about earlier, you know. What's fueling their company is their passion. It's like with you with Modern Tinder and me with the hiking company. If I get no tours, if you have no one buying Modern Tinder, we're still out there doing it, man. Like, this is our
Absolutely.
passion. This is our absolute passion. And when people are joining us for the tours or joining for the bonfires, then we're even more stoked, and it's going to fuel us even more. But that's not the initial fire that's fueling all this passion, you know. And it's kind of like, have you ever seen the TV show Avatar?
Yes, yeah,
like
I love it.
Zuko like forgot how to firebend because it was fueled from anger before, and that wasn't the true source and where you're supposed to source it from. And when he restructured that, he was able to be even more powerful than he was before.
And dude, I hope us just even talking about that inspires other people that are out there. Maybe they're afraid to take that first step, just to like, dude, like, who cares what other people think? Who cares? Like, you know, as long as you're doing good for yourself and you're out there having fun, like, do what makes you happy, man.
Do what makes you happy, man.
You know, at the end of the day, we're all going to die. So
we're all going to die one day, man.
Exactly.
And that is the most powerful thing you can think of. What I like to imagine is imagining myself 80, 90, 95 years old, sitting in a bed, you know, like looking back at my life and thinking, did I do it right? Did I do the things I want to do? Did I tell that person I love them? Did I hike and climb this tree I wanted to climb? And that's the thing. Like, I want to see myself looking back at my life and be like, you know, I did everything I wanted to do. And a lot of people, I feel like, can't say that, or maybe can say that, but are actually kind of lying to themselves. We have so many dreams that we don't, or we're just scared to chase because it's really hard with the competition in the system. But like Luke said, just take one step at a time. And yeah, if people can get inspired by what we're doing, our baby steps, this is our main goal, to inspire other people to chase their dreams too, you know. We want to help everyone. And
I think mortality is being that somebody that thing that is checking you and keeping you accountable, man. Because if we were immortals, will we be doing the same thing, you know?
Probably not. We'd just be sitting around, you know. We get pretty bored. We got a whole entire eons and eons to just live and do things. But it's like you said, we are immortal. And I'm sure you've probably had some near-death experiences too. And this will wake you up, man. This will be like, whoa, hey, guys, you can die any moment now. Like, better choose carefully what you're doing with your life.
Oh, I've had so many, man. And it, like, shakes you to your core.
It shakes you to your core, man.
And it does change my patterns on like what I do for sure. But yeah, I think that accountability aspect of death being imminent. We're not promised tomorrow, so do what you can today and enjoy your life today. You know, man, that's definitely the biggest thing, you know. So this is a great podcast. I'm stoked with the conversation we're having, you know. And yeah, my first one I had my intern out here, my little brother, so that was fun to like have them around the fire, and their first time on a podcast. Honestly, my first time too, you know. It's like, hey, you just gotta do it, man. If you don't do it, somebody else is gonna do it. I think we talked about that getting coffee today.
And we can learn just so much, even just from talking to each other, you know. And it's like we're learning just from talking to each other, but it's like, why not spread this to other people too, you know? We're doing everything we can to chase our dreams and to inspire other people. So we just want to put that out there so other people can see this too, and, you know, hopefully chase their own dreams and live their dream life.
Dude, absolutely, man. I want to go back to Costa Rica though, because my first time, I've never been to Central America or South America, but back in 2021, I did a surf trip to Santa Teresa. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, Santa Teresa.
And I was like, didn't know what to expect at all. Dude, Costa Rica, bro, is a hidden gem. It's a 6-8 hour flight from Miami. You know, you can, or I guess, what's your routing? You fly from,
I usually go
California.
back to LA because that's where all my family is right now. All my family came from Cuba, but right now they live kind of close to LA. So I always go back to LA, and it works perfect because LAX is right there, and they fly pretty much everywhere in the world. So go see the family for a bit, and then fly out and travel from there. Yeah, Costa Rica is a special place, and it's funny because it's really high in tourism now, but there are still so many spots you can see. I mean, it's like Oahu, man. Like, we got 1.3 million people on this island versus like maybe a couple 100,000 on all the other islands. There's so many people here, but yeah, there's still so many hidden gems. Especially if you're into nature, you can find love and passion anywhere you go. Nature is everywhere.
Oh, dude, yeah, and you know, a lot of places in Costa Rica, they look like Hawaii. You know, the vegetation, and you have coconuts. You have, you know, a lot of people do palm. Have you noticed all the palm tree farms out there for, I think, palm oil and stuff like that? Yeah, it's just cool to look at other countries, and you know, one thing about traveling is like you get to see what their exports are and like what they bring to the world. You know, and out there, I think it's palm, and I'm trying to think what else they do. A lot of it's tourism now. It's starting to grow.
Tourism, yeah. A lot. But there's so many other places like Costa Rica, just right north and south, you know, like El Salvador and Panama, Nicaragua, all these places, like basically just untouched. And this is my dream, to go explore these places.
I think I messaged you. It's a backstory, actually. I didn't know. I never met Tarzan, but I had messaged him on Instagram about maybe, I think actually last year. And I was just trying to find some like cool creators and cool guys doing their thing. And yeah, I think you were in Guatemala when I messaged you. But dude, tell me about Guatemala. I don't know. I have some friends that are from Guatemala, but I don't know anything about the country. What is it? What's it like?
Guatemala itself is a beautiful place. And it's funny because I went to Guatemala just because I found a really cheap flight. I love to travel and like open myself up to the unknown and just to learn, man, like from talking to people, from near-death experiences, hiking, and just getting up to all these adventures. But Guatemala was beautiful. I found a really cheap flight, so I went there. My mindset was like, all right, I'm just going to go straight down south, hit the coast. But something told me, like, just explore a little bit. You're already here in Guatemala, so let's check it out. So I landed in Guatemala City, which is pretty chaotic like most cities. Then we went straight to Antigua, which is a beautiful, like, historic city. Yeah, beautiful vibes. And then from Antigua, we started just researching more and more like nature and like how can we go find some beautiful nature spots around and how can we get there. So then we stumbled across Lake Atitlan, which is where I spend most of my time in Guatemala. And
it's like the big lake in the middle of the country, right?
Yeah.
So I only know that because of Google Maps. You know?
I see. It's funny. I never even heard about it before going.
Really? What's the lake like?
The lake is beautiful, man. It's surrounded by 3 volcanoes, very spiritual place, very prevalent in Mayan culture too, which for me was my favorite thing because I love to learn about basically just ancient history and like how they used to survive, what kind of medicine did they use, all this type of stuff, the stuff that we've lost touch with nowadays. But dude, even like in the middle of the island, middle of the lake, there's an island in the middle that's now submerged, but it used to be an island above the water. They used to have a whole ancient civilization on that island, which is crazy. So people are starting to free dive now and scuba dive down the lake and starting to find old ruins, which is so beautiful in my opinion, just to see like the old type of life. But yeah, being able to connect with the minds out there was really cool, and just to learn from their ways. And at first they were a little skeptical seeing a shirtless guy. They're like, who is this guy? And they're kind of looking at me weird, but once we started like hanging out some more and they learned my intention, I just wanted to learn from them. They were very open and shared so much knowledge, and it was very beautiful. And the main reason I stuck around was because there was beautiful hiking. You know, I love to just be in nature and move my body activation. And so the volcanoes, people hike like pretty commonly, like people do tours there. But I started just following farm trails, going back into the greenery, like, which is my favorite color. I follow the green. Wherever the green is, I go, especially the tropical places. So I would just start hiking on these farmer trails, walk past farm trails, saying hi to all the uncles, super sweet, and then run into rivers and follow the rivers till I find waterfalls. And then I started finding waterfalls that I would never see anybody at. And coming from Oahu is pretty rare, because Oahu, if you go to a waterfall, you're going to see somebody. It's hard to be alone. So yeah, man, I started going to these beautiful waterfalls, and I realized, man, this is my dream. I'm going to start doing tours here, and I would love to just spread that everywhere. Just start finding more waterfalls and taking people there and to teach them how to reconnect, you know, not just to go and explore these places and exploit all these places and to make them really popular. This isn't my goal at all. My goal is to bring people to these places to reconnect, to learn how to rebreathe and recalibrate ourselves to this frequency of nature that's so harmonious.
Yeah, it's funny you mention all that, because I remember when I met you, we climbed that tree together. What kind of tree was that, actually?
That was a banyan tree.
Banyan tree, dude.
Beautiful,
so
big
pretty.
banyan tree.
They're easy to climb.
Easy to climb, yeah.
They're not
totally
hard like you would think they are. But you know what's funny is, like, I kind of knew this in the back of my head, but you kind of told me what to do. You were like, hey, take your shoes off. The webbing of your feet, you're going to climb that tree like a friggin' monkey would, you know? And dude, no, it was easy.
Dude,
if I had
you were up
shoes
there in
on.
like 2 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Because, like,
It
if
was
I had
easy.
shoes on, you know, I feel like we were so ingrained to wear shoes sometimes, you know, and I get it. Like, you have to wear shoes sometimes, you know, or sandals, right? But, dude, climbing a tree like that, it was a breeze.
It was
fun, and I didn't have my shoes stuck anywhere. It was
Yeah,
just the natural webbing of
exactly.
my feet, you know, and yeah, just simple stuff like that, like, so memorable for me. And I can only imagine what it's going to be like for you when you bring people on your tours, and, you know, you get to show them around Central America or here in Hawaii, right? And show them what it's like to get reconnected, you know, and they'll remember that forever, man. They'll be like, yeah, I remember Tarzan in, you know, Guatemala or Hawaii, right? And yeah, it's just an appreciation going back to that, you know. So
appreciation for so much, man. Like, there was people that taught me, you know, and taught me the ways, and I'm so grateful for these people, the people that inspired me. So to follow that chain to inspire other people makes me even happier. Just spreading the love to other people, you know. Getting barefoot is the best way we can do this, man. Reground ourselves. This will make you happy.
I'm a big advocate for paying it forward, you know.
Yeah.
Because I had, you know, when I was 18, 19, and ignorant of the world, how it works, I had mentors that kind of, you know, showed the path for me. And whether that's through future aspirations of being a pilot, I want to go back into the military as a, you know, pilot, hopefully, right? And obviously I'll have to cut the hair, shave the beard, you know. I'm enjoying it while I can, you know.
Of course.
I always joke with my parents that since I got out of the military, I'm like in the Vietnam era right now of my life, because a lot of those guys that got out, dude, they grew their hair out, had the beard and everything. So I always joke with my girlfriend and family. I'm like, yeah, that's the phase I'm in right now. I'm enjoying it, you know, and loving it. Getting to be out here in nature and live in Hawaii. I'm so blessed for that. And but yeah, I'm big advocate for paying it forward. And, you know, one thing that I noticed with you is that, like, you like to teach and inspire others, and that brings you satisfaction. But dude, I hope people they learn this and they pay it forward to the other people that are maybe intrigued by it, right? You know.
And it's all just like baby steps, man, you know, getting out to nature, being inspired, and then once you follow that passion, everything is going to come in line, man. I feel like I haven't planned anything in my life in the last 2 years, and everything is just boom, 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 set up perfectly. Yeah. It's really just about being present in the moment, man, and to really chase those dreams. The universe favors the bold. You got to be curious, be open to learning from people, from TV, from the internet. You know, we can learn so much from the internet. We have the dictionary from the whole world in our hands, but how often do we look up stuff like just for knowledge instead of just for connecting?
Man, it's funny, I love history, by the way. You're a big history guy, right?
Big history guy.
Yeah,
love
and
history.
like, we live in the coolest time, and
Coolest time.
A lot of people don't realize that, because, dude, we can go, like, I can fly to Japan and be immersed in, like, if I wanted to be immersed in Buddhist culture or Japanese ancient culture, bro, I can go over there and learn the old ways of the Meiji era, of, like, when the samurai ruled, Or I can go to Thailand, or I can go to Indonesia, and like, or I can go to like Europe.
Dude, we
you
can
go
anything.
anywhere.
We can literally do anything in this time.
Yeah.
Like growing up, I always said, "Oh man, I wish I was in the 70s and the 80s. I hate technology. I hate this." Hey man, I'm in this world still without technology. Like you can live without it.
And there are places that are still at the level of the 80s and 70s, you know,
Exactly.
and you can go, if you want to go to those places, you can go and appreciate that slow living, you know, but that's the beauty of like, that's why I love the mix that there's a lot of movies too that I kind of like to, I resonate with, because they kind of mix in the beauty of like the modern era, you know, but then also with the old ways of living, you know, and I think now, man, we have like kind of like the food, right? We have access to so many good foods. We don't have to farm for it, though. We can go enjoy and travel and appreciate that somebody else is doing that for us, right? The supply chain, essentially, you know. And
it's pretty crazy, honestly. Think about it, man. Any food we want, we can just go right down the street to that grocery store and just get it. It's crazy. We don't have to do anything but just to give this piece of paper and get that money back.
I know we're almost out of time, but yeah, man. And you know, starting a business, I appreciate like all right. This is funny. I'll look at a box. And I'm like, dude, somebody had to design this, like just the process, right? Mm-hmm. But I think like really being aware of your surroundings, whether that is in like the Western world we live in, or the old ways of living, is like appreciating the craft and the patience that it takes, you know, and getting away from that instant gratification, you know. I think that will not make you happy ever, you know, and human beings struggle with that, but yeah, man. Let's. I know you have to go. You gotta bounce to North Shore here soon. But brother, thanks for coming on, dude.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. It's such a blessing to talk with you and share some stories.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, real fast, dude. Let's maybe next year. I'm going back to Kentucky this summer, but yeah, we'll keep in touch. I'll be back here in the fall, and let's talk about maybe going to like El Salvador. Hey. One of my good buddies. Shout out to Cuba Coffee Co. But his grandparents have a coffee farm out there, and they, you know, harvest the bean, or they grow the beans out there, and they send the beans up to San Antonio where he roasts them, you know. But small business, and yeah, I'll see if you're up there. We'll link up together one day and make something happen. Maybe go surfing.
Dude, I'd be more than stoked to get out there, work on the plantation, just get out there in nature with you. It sounds fun, man. I'm excited to explore your brain some more, and for us to have so many adventures in the future, man. So
Absolutely,
much to go.
bro.
So much. This is the beginning.
Did you notice this thing was like the wind?
Yeah.
Yeah. Stays lit, so
dude,
it's good.
This thing is epic, man. It hasn't even got out. We've had some strong wind, but dude,
yeah,
it smells good, and how you can literally just put it out right now is insane. Like on a normal bonfire, it's like, dude, that thing is already on. There's no way you're gonna stop it.
Oh yeah.
This is just a piece of cake.
Dude, absolutely.
Dude, thanks for like having this too, man. I'm excited to
dude.
some bonfires.
This summer, I'm making a bug repellent one. So keep the mosquitoes away. So we don't have to put bug spray on.
That is a genius idea. Natural essential oils that all the bugs hate, citronella and all that. Wow, that's a genius idea.
Yeah, brother. Well, hey, man. Dude, thanks for coming on again, brother. This is awesome. Well, any last words? Sorry, any final words before we close the podcast?
I just want to tell everyone out there, I love you. We all love you. You know, we're all so loved. So just want to say, get back in nature, heal yourself a little bit. We're both here for you. If you ever have something to talk about, Luke and I are both here. Sending so much love your guys' way.
Dude, I love that, brother. Thanks, man.
Of course.